Hey everyone, my name is Xenia, and today my guest here finally in person. I'm so excited. The fighter of love, Forbes.
Hey, it's so awesome to be here.
It's so nice to finally have you here in real life.
I feel like I just know you so well already from being internet friends and doing our first interview together. Yeah, so it's cool to catch up again.
Yeah, and we did a pretty in-depth interview, so I feel like we talked about some very serious topics. So it does feel like we know each other.
Yeah, for sure.
In today's interview, we're gonna kind of follow up on what happened after the show came out, and I'm a firm believer in not responding to mean comments, but addressing the issue itself, because you don't want to give those people, time of day. But if there is a person who misunderstood, or who's still confused, or who's trying to be mean, we might try and solve that.
Right.
Not all of those are going to be mean and horrible, but some of them are going to be.
Yeah.
I want to start from the start. Because first of all, your episode is the season finale, and it's my favorite episode of the show. I'm gonna go on record saying that, and partially, of course, because you were there, but also partially because it's probably the most controversial topic that we covered on the show. And I've also talked about that in other videos, that video is impossible to monetize or promote in any way.
Why?
Just because YouTube doesn't like people talking about sex.
Right.
So it kind of proves the original point too, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the algorithm of social media just blocking women from saying or doing whatever they want with their bodies, and how have you experienced that?
I've experienced it through Instagram. Instagram keeps deleting my posts, and people report it, it gets deleted, and sometimes I can be like, okay, I understand why they're taking that down, and then sometimes it's like I'm completely clothed and it's nothing sexual and they still want to get rid of it. So I'm like, people use it as a way to hurt people's branding and stuff.
Absolutely. And honestly, with Instagram, I've also experienced that, and I don't even do anything.
Oh my God.
And also, I've experienced people trying to use those algorithms as a way to shut down people, where someone would report a picture or a video, and that would actually affect you. And honestly, it's such a powerful tool to place in the hands of the public, because you have a lot of followers. You have 1 million followers on Instagram.
Most of my following is on Instagram, so when they threaten to delete me, I'm like, no, that's how I keep up with my people. But they also deleted me recently for something that was inciting violence, because they'll delete wrestling clips or promos if you have any threat, even though it was just me ripping a watermelon. It still got deleted by saying I will rip your face off, just hypothetically speaking. So they're all over the place with what they think is fair and what they think is not fair. And I do feel like they play favorites with certain people too, because people are always like, Kim Kardashian can get away with so much, but I can't even show my cleavage, So I think they just pick and choose kind of who they want to enforce those rules with.
Yeah, and also not to get too carried away, but especially recently, Instagram has been very much an influencer's platform. It's not really geared to a user experience, it's geared to an influencer experience. And that also hurts people like us as well, because we do have some followers, quite some followers, but at least you're not influencer geared. You're still a personality. You're a wrestler. You're a performer, and it's different, and they don't really like it as a platform. So that's also been hard. We're just complaining.
That's why I like
life
Twitter.
Is so hard.
I know. Don't delete my post. I want the world to see me twerk. But
the world deserves to see you twerk.
Right. But that's why I love Twitter, because Twitter is so anything goes, even freedom of speech. Because on Instagram, my friend said, men ain't shit, quote, men ain't shit, that's it. And then they deleted that comment, and then she got in trouble for verbal abuse. I know, I'm it's so stupid, because that really is taking away from our freedom of speech to censor us that much. But Twitter, I love how Twitter lets you post what you want, you can say what you want. But on Twitter, I don't have as big of a following as Instagram. I feel like it's a lot easier to build your following on Instagram. So I'm I just gotta behave.
And also Instagram is more of a visual platform, so for pictures and videos, it makes more sense to be on Instagram. Yeah, and segueing from social media trying to censor people, we're going into a platform that you would never expect to do that, also trying to censor people. You've definitely heard the recent news about OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Deciding to ban porn. Can you tell us what you feel about that?
I think it's great. crazy. Obviously, they're gonna like, you know, lose a lot of money because people are going to delete their accounts, and it's still gonna be a platform, but there's certain rules now. Like there's more in the terms of use that you can't have, so they don't want porn and different things like that. So I know, like, even if I'm just posting twerk videos, it's still going to affect my memberships because people are going to be like, hell no, I'm leaving OnlyFans if this is how y'all want to be. But I know there's a lot of other sites that are like the same idea, subscription based, monthly, things like that, where anything goes. So I'm sure I'll just move all my following to the next site that's really popping.
And also it's a tricky topic too, because this ban kind of stemmed from credit card companies trying to stop actual bad toxic websites like Pornhub. Like we also discussed that in the episode. And it's like so hard to navigate your way through that world as a person, but also as a business, because like it's hurting one thing while helping the other. And there's really no way to.
So they'll be on a better relationship with their credit card companies, but the credit card companies, the reason that they want them to delete certain things is because people dispute the charges. So people will go on there and say, I didn't pay $500 for this orgy video, you know, and of course like the credit card company's like, what the hell, we need to get rid of this. So that's going to bring a big red flag, because then people want to buy something and then complain about it later, making chargebacks and disputes, and then OnlyFans ends up having to give that money back if someone disputes it, because you can go on and say, someone stole my card, I didn't even watch that video. Like people lie all the time, especially like if their wife doesn't want them spending money on females.
Yes, especially if it's such a taboo topic that people don't really like to publicly admit.
Because it's embarrassing. So the wife's like, why did you spend $500 in twerk videos? You know, they'd be like, it wasn't me.
Didn't. And it harms the creator. So.
Exactly. So then that creates drama with the credit card company, so that's what OnlyFans is trying to get rid of.
Okay, so we've kind of covered the way that the platforms are hindering what I do, what you do, what we do, but I also want to talk about the thing that I did when producing the show. So in the post-production, there was a moment where I had to like really think of what I should do about that, and I actually inserted like a subtitle. So, okay, thing is, there are different people in the world who have different opinions, and I love and respect that on the show. And what a surprise, we're different humans with different backgrounds who don't agree on some things.
It'd be weird if we were all the same.
So there was one moment in the show where you said that you support legalization of prostitution, and I personally don't. And I inserted like a subtitle saying that the host of the show is for the Swedish Model. So for those of you who don't know, Swedish Model is a concept where the person who buys sex is being punished for that, while for the worker it's completely legal. And that, like, for me, that stems from my opinion that in the perfect world, in-person sex work would not exist. So if you've heard before like about the Swedish Model, or just hearing from me right now, what's your opinion on that concept?
What did you say again? The Swedish Model is when they get it, the person buying it gets in trouble? And then what was the other one?
And the worker, like for the sex worker, is perfectly legal. And
Yeah, that is weird. I mean, that's like, it's not illegal to buy drugs from somebody, but it'd be illegal to sell drugs.
And it doesn't only apply or work in the world, just in general with sex work, because in some countries there are similar laws that apply to different things. For example, in Spain, where they sell like counterfeit like bags and stuff like that, it's not illegal for the person to sell them, but it's illegal to buy them.
That is so funny.
And to me, honestly, like in my opinion, like it would be a great way to handle like unsafe sex work, because what's the point of punishing the person who's doing that? Because like they're not hurting anyone, right? But the person who could potentially hurt someone is the person who buys sex, because most of the assaults and dangerous situations come from them. So
yeah, that's interesting to think about, that it could just be one-sided, but part of me feels like it just needs to be fair. Like I'm like, if you're doing, like they should both be in trouble, like
or should they?
Or not in trouble at all.
Or not in trouble.
But I feel like it should be equal. I feel like that's unfair for one person to get in trouble, not the other. I feel like neither one of them should get in trouble if they're both consenting and grown, and even maybe like has tests, because that would be a really like dangerous part of it too, is as the transmission of STDs.
And it's also another thing with the concept of consent, because we still live in the rape culture world where people don't really know or understand what consent is or value it as highly as it should be. And for some people, and that's like more on the radical like side of feminism, which is controversial, I'm not sure whether I'm gonna like sign that or not, but for some people, like with sex work, it can't really like imply consent, because say you're a person and you're just chilling, right? And there's another person that you're not attracted to, and then they give you money, and it doesn't make you attracted to them. And consent implies enthusiastic consent. Like consent implies not just you sitting there and saying yes. It implies you enthusiastically being into that person.
But also, like, I feel like you may not want to like go ring up groceries at the grocery store, but then if you're gonna get some money for it, then you're like, okay, I'll go do that. And then you're consenting because you're like, sure, they're gonna give me what I want in return. Because for me, just to go ring up groceries at the grocery store for free, that's like abuse. but if I'm okay with the exchange of the money for the service, then I feel like that's the consent, is when you're okay and come to an agreement with that you're both comfortable with.
Yeah, that makes sense. As I said, there's like no right answer to those questions. We're just discussing. We're just chilling. That's okay. So yeah, that was one of the moments where in post-production I had to like give it some thought and be like, you know what, I'll just write this just for the record and we'll see what happens. And now we're going to the most fun part, the comments, the feedback. I just want to mention and get out of the way that there were so many great comments. People enjoyed it a lot. People said we were cool. People said you were cool. Thank you for that. If you enjoyed it and shared it and loved it, I love you back and thank you so much. But of course there were some assholes.
Right, always.
And in some of those comments, I mean, just purely mean comments are another thing. It's a staple.
Yeah, people wanting attention.
But I do want to address some of the things where people were like legitimately confused, I think, probably. So one of those things is, as I said, like people writing mean comments are just proving the point. And there were a lot of people, as there always are, nitpicking at our physical appearance, obviously.
Oh my God, y'all.
And
we look good.
We look
I don't know
great.
what they're talking
First of all,
about.
we look great.
Amazing. You're so hot.
Oh, you're so hot.
Thank you.
But yeah, and do you feel like people nitpicking at someone's appearance when it's not even mentioned, it's not like even the center point of the video, is a form of objectification?
I think it is, unless it's like a positive way. But really, to comment on anyone's appearance when it was not asked for, I feel like is objectification. But if y'all are gonna say y'all are beautiful ladies and wow, y'all are smart too, something like that, which is the truth, then I'm like, that's them telling the truth. But if they're gonna be like, ooh, plastic surgery's gross.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I get all the time. Then I'm like, whatever, you know, I think a lot of people want attention, and like we said, we have different opinions.
Yeah.
Some people think little lips are cute, and some people think like big lips are hot.
And that's their
little
opinion,
eyelashes or big
business.
eyelashes, right? We're all different.
Yeah, there was another comment that, again, I think the person was legitimately confused because, as I said, we have different opinions, and in the episode itself, there are like bits that are your interview and bits that are my sit down and me just talking about the issue too. And I think that confusion stemmed also from us disagreeing a little bit.
Okay.
So this person went like, oh, so she's a sex worker, but sexualization is bad. And you didn't say that.
Right.
You didn't say it was bad. But I do want to go into the subject a little bit and try to figure out when it's good and when it's bad. So
when it would be good and when it would be bad. I feel like when it would be good is when people are respectful and they're like, wow, you're beautiful. And then they keep it moving. And then maybe objectification with it would be like if somebody comes, like they're disrespectful with it. Obviously, some people act like animals and when they want to try to grab your butt. Like stuff like that. Okay, now that's not what it's
assault,
for.
okay?
Yeah, exactly. Don't do that, y'all. So I feel like it's really about respect or disrespect.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It really makes the difference, because like somebody giving a sweet compliment's nice, but then also if it's not welcomed and then you keep bothering somebody and they're not like, you know, it's a little too far. I think there's like the fine line between, okay, now you're getting too crazy.
Yeah, but also I feel like saying that someone is beautiful is not really sexualization, because sexualization really implies like, again, a sexual underlying.
So like, I mean, like getting crazy if someone says something stupid, like, oh my God, you're so hot, I just want to bend you over. Like that is just stupid and disrespectful. And then I love being sexy, but not for people to be talking like that, you know? So I feel like people need to be respectful and nice. That makes it not disrespectful.
And also I feel like part of the confusion could come from what I said, and what I really think is that it's gonna sound weird in this regard, but there is still a time and place for everything.
That's true.
Because especially when it comes to sex work, which again, we might have different opinions on that, but when it is in designated space, I know that even on OnlyFans, some people pay for like chats, right?
Yeah.
And there's such thing as cam rooms and chat rooms and whatever. And there is a it is appropriate there in some shape or form, right?
Yeah.
In that realm, if you're into that. But when we talk about sexualization, it's more about when it goes outside the borders of what the person can control and can take care of themselves. Because when I think sexualization, I think half-naked women in beer ads. I think, I think a news host or anchor just wearing like a little more deep cut of a shirt and people just go batshit over that.
Right.
So I guess the takeaway is be respectful and just read the room. There's
time and place for everything.
Time and place
that
for
is very true.
Yeah.
Read the room.
Another question that I also got in the comments, and it wasn't only the comments on your episode, but also on episode that featured some LGBTQ plus workers too. And we did talk about LGBTQ plus too in the video a little bit, but it mostly had to do with shows that are like designated for minorities, I guess you could say, which again, women aren't technically a minority, but we're treated like one, so I'm saying that. So like LGBTQ plus themed shows, all women's shows, which we had an all women's show yesterday that Katie performed at, which was great. So the question is, do you feel like that could be alienating in a way where it's like, oh, women get this space, so we can not include them in the general space?
Oh, okay. Because then if it was like an all-boys show, it would be a little bit right.
Again, I don't think like it's a fair comparison because
I don't think so either.
Women are a marginalized group, and
we
men
all
aren't,
normally we have one match on the card, and the rest is men. So if we had an all men's match, it really wouldn't be that different because the men get all the time anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like
life is an all men's show.
Right.
Okay?
Especially in a male dominated sport. It's a male show. So to have a female show I think is awesome because it's highlighting women, and a lot of people want to see more female wrestling, and they complain that on like WWE and things like that, they're like the women's match is like 2 minutes long. So if you really are passionate about women's wrestling, to go to an all women's show is just like, this is what I came for. Like it's just so much more, like I feel like it's so empowering as a woman too.
Absolutely, yeah. But also I feel like we have to keep in mind, and it would be nice if the promotions kept that in mind too, that having an all women's show doesn't give you a pass to not include women in normal / standard shows. Right. So I think that really answers the question, because if that is alienating at hands of that promoter, that's their fault. Right. It doesn't mean that the concept of an all-women's show is a bad thing. Right.
It's not to take away from mixed gender shows. It's just to give us extra shine on something that's so amazing that we need more of.
Yeah. And this last question has to do with a very controversial topic that has been going on around the internet recently. So we're in SummerSlam weekend right now. And after the show, apparently, Nikki Bellas, who's an absolute legend, was asked what her favorite SummerSlam moment was. Did you see the video?
I didn't.
Okay, so we know that on the show, Becky Lynch appeared, which is great, we love her, and she squashed Bianca for the title. Yeah. And so the journalist asked Nikki Bellas what her favorite moment was. And her answer was that she was really upset by Bianca, a young talent who's been really awesome, on the wave and really over and really great, being squashed like that. So Nikki was really upset by that, and she was like, I did not have a favorite moment because of that.
Oh, okay.
So what do you think about the squash, and do you agree with Nikki Bellas, and do you think it's appropriate of her to say that too?
Well, I think it's appropriate. I mean, that's her. That's her take on it. So I didn't see that. I haven't been able to watch it yet. We've been going all weekend with the wrestling events, but I've heard about it online. And I know it does suck for Bianca to get squashed really fast, because she's just so amazing and so talented, but also then wrestling their storylines, you know? So maybe that's just where they're gonna go, and she's gonna come back even stronger. Like, you never know where they're gonna go with it. Like, it could turn into something positive, but I haven't seen it to say for sure if it was wrong or not.
Yeah, but also I feel like people jump to conclusions like that a lot. As you said, like there is hope for long-term storytelling. Like what if it makes sense in the long run? Yeah. But also I think like some promotions, with the way that they treat long-term storytelling, which is they don't they don't do it. Like, they have given us grounds to just jump to conclusions immediately. And again, I'm sidetracking a little, but I've also seen that with, and I've been that with the way that Killer Cross debuted on the main brands. Like, he lost like twice to Jeff Hardy, and people were really mad about it. I was really mad about it, and maybe it makes sense in the long run, but we're just so used to companies like not giving us that long-term storytelling that we want and that we deserve, so we just jump. But again, let's hope that Bianca comes back and stronger, like you said.
I've heard that in AEW they have longer storylines, so that way the fans can get more involved in it. And like WWE seems like it's at a changing point right now. The way they're doing so many layoffs, it's like hard for the fans to even get attached to a storyline or get attached to a character because their favorite is like doing good and then getting squashed, or doing good and then get released all of a sudden, and then they're like, damn, I can't even invest in these people because the turnaround is so quick.
Something
so it's like
definitely happening.
I know. Me and Rob were talking about that. Like, it's like going to be hard for the generation now to become legends like him, like have a Hall of Fame career, because people like Braun Strowman didn't he headline main event WrestleMania? He had a big push. He had a big push. I think he headlined WrestleMania, but then getting released after that, like, and then Rob's like, I wonder if that would qualify like a Hall of Fame career, because Rob was on for so long, but didn't have the push like that. But back in the day, we had legends because you'd see the same people over and over, and now it's like the push and moon gone.
Got attached and got this connection with the performer.
Yeah, I love that. I like to be able to feel the connection, and then I'm like really upset, you know, if they get hurt, or really excited when they win.
I know I said that question was the last one, but since we're talking about WWE, I'm going to ask you, if you were offered a WWE contract right now, would you do that?
Yes, that's what I want to do.
Call Katie, please.
I do, and on Impact Wrestling, I had the highest amount of views out of anybody on the YouTube. So I was like, Katie equals clicks, but I might be a little too inappropriate for WWE right now.
I mean,
that's what
I
I'm
hope
scared
they
of.
can.
I don't know, but I'm scandalous. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think they should, honestly.
Thank you.
And yeah, if you have anything to plug, promote, you can do it right now.
Cool. Everybody, y'all go follow me. Everywhere is at the Katie Forbes. And for the 18 and up, OnlyFans.com/Katie Forbes.
And all the links will be in the description, as always. And in the meanwhile, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so happy to finally have you on here in real life.
You for having me.
Yeah, and subscribe. Whoa. Subscribe, tap the notification bell to never miss an upload. And until next time, goodbye.